There's a moment we all know. You're at work, at home, maybe on the phone. Someone talks to you like you're a child. They roll their eyes, raise their voice, push your buttons, and inside you feel that surge. Do I snap back? Do I explain myself again? Do I just swallow it and take the hit? Most of us were never taught how to handle disrespect. We either explode or we stay silent and hate ourselves later. The Stoics did something different. They didn't argue. They didn't beg to be understood. They ended the conversation, calmly, firmly, and with their dignity intact. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 Stoic phrases that do exactly that. When to use them, why they work, and how to say them so you stay in control. No shouting, no drama, no guilt. If you're someone who's done being dragged into other people's chaos, stay with me, because the next 15 minutes will show you exactly how to take your peace back. Before we get into the Stoic frame phrases, there's one idea worth holding on to, not as philosophy, but as practical wisdom for everyday life. Most of the conflict we experience doesn't come from what another person says. It comes from the belief that we have to respond to it. We're taught from an early age that silence means weakness, that walking away means losing, that the only way to protect ourselves is to fight every battle that appears in front of us. But as we get older, something becomes clear. Not every battle is ours. Some people speak from insecurity, some from habit, some from frustration that has nothing to do with you. And if you react to every one of those moments, you end up living a life controlled by the moods of other people. Stoicism offers a different starting point. You don't control what they say. You only control how you respond to it. When you understand that, something subtle shifts. You stop trying to win arguments. You stop trying to change minds. You stop giving your energy to conversations that never had the capacity to go anywhere useful. A boundary isn't aggression, it's clarity. It's the quiet decision that your peace is worth more than proving a point. And the phrases you're about to hear are exactly that. Not weapons, not clever comebacks, but doors you can step through whenever a conversation stops honoring your time, your values, or your self-respect. These aren't scripts to memorize word for word. They're tools. Use them when the situation fits. Adjust them to your voice, and trust your instinct on when your peace needs protecting. So, as we go through them, remember the goal is not to dominate anyone. The goal is to stay anchored in yourself, even when the world tries to pull you off course. With that in place, let's move into the 10 phrases. Phrase 1. Phrase 1. You're talking to a wall right now. This line is for bad faith repetition. When someone keeps dragging you back into a conversation you've already had and already resolved, just to stir up drama. Your parent, your sibling, or a coworker keeps bringing up the same tired, solved complaint about your choices for the 10th time. You've answered it calmly. You've explained your reasons. You've made your decision. But they insist on reopening the old wound, not to find a solution, but to keep control and keep you on the defensive. That's not a discussion. That's a power play. You wait for them to pause. Then you say it, calmly, no emotion. You're talking to a wall right now. I've already answered this. I'm not going over it again. Then you're done. You walk away, you hang up, or you turn back to what you were doing. Stoically, this line is about protecting your inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius talked about not wasting your short life, arguing with people who refuse to hear. You state your truth once, maybe twice. After that, continuing the argument is a choice, and you're choosing your peace. Use this phrase when you recognize the pattern. Same complaint, same script, no intention to move forward. It's a clean way of saying, you no longer have access to my energy on this topic. Phrase 2. I don't debate my boundaries. There's a kind of argument that never ends because it's built on the wrong assumption that your boundaries are up for negotiation. Every time someone doesn't like them, you say, I'm not available after 9 p.m. They say, that's ridiculous. You're being difficult. You say, I don't lend money to friends or family. They say, wow, so you don't care about anyone but yourself. You say, I'm not comfortable talking about that. They roll their eyes, push harder, and accuse you of hiding something. If you play along, you get stuck explaining, justifying, defending. You give a whole life story for why you need sleep, why you protect your finances, why you want privacy. And every explanation invites more attack, more pressure, more testing. A Stoic doesn't do that. You understand that a boundary is not a debate topic. It's a line you live by. You're willing to communicate it clearly, but you're not willing to put it on trial every time someone doesn't like it. So when the pressure starts and they demand reasons, you stay calm and you say, I don't debate my boundaries. That's it. You're not asking for permission. You're not applying for approval. You're stating a policy for your life, and then you let your actions be consistent with it. Phrase 3. Phrase 3. Your chaos isn't my responsibility. There are people who live in a constant state of problem. Something is always urgent. Someone always wronged them. There's always a new fire to put out. They call you to unload after every argument. They rant about work, family, money. They expect you to listen, calm them down, give advice, and somehow make it all feel manageable. At first, it feels like you're being a good friend, partner, or parent. You're supportive, you're there. But over time, you notice a pattern. The situations change, the chaos doesn't. And now you're the one drained, distracted, and tense. You're checking your phone, bracing for the next emotional dump. You feel guilty if you don't respond. That's the moment a Stoic steps back and sees what's actually happening. You've started to feel responsible for someone else's emotional weather. You can care about someone without carrying them. You can listen sometimes, offer perspective sometimes, but you do not owe them your energy on demand. Their reactions, their choices, their patterns, those are theirs. So the next time they try to drag you into yet another storm, you stay calm and say, your chaos isn't my responsibility. Then you act in line with it. You answer later. You shorten the call. Or you say you're not available for this conversation right now. Phrase 4. Phrase 4. Not trading my peace for your drama. There's a point in life where you realize your energy is not unlimited. You've got work, health, maybe aging parents, maybe kids who still need you. You only have so much attention to spend in a day. And then there's that person who treats your life like an emotional landfill. They show up already spun up. Can you believe what he said? You won't even listen to me. Why aren't you more upset about this? You feel the pressure. If you don't match their intensity, they get louder. If you stay calm, they say you don't care. So you get pulled in. Your heart rate goes up. Your evening is gone. This is where a Stoic draws a line. Your nervous system is not a public resource. Their conflict, their overreactions, their need to stay offended, that's their business. Your peace is yours. So when you feel that familiar pull into someone else's drama, you keep your voice level and say, I'm not trading my peace for your drama. Then you stop justifying. You don't explain it 10 different ways. You let the silence do its job. Or you step away if they keep pushing. And if they won't calm down or shift gears, that leads straight into the next one. Phrase 5. Phrase 5. This conversation doesn't serve me. Sometimes the problem isn't the person. It's the loop you keep getting stuck in with them. You've had the same argument 10 times. Nothing changes. No one learns. You both walk away irritated, and a day later it starts again. Or maybe it's not even a full argument. It's the passive-aggressive comments, the little jabs, the same complaint brought up over and over, dressed in slightly different words. You feel your chest tighten when the topic comes up. You already know how it ends. You already know it's going nowhere. But you stay in it anyway, out of habit, guilt, or pride. A Stoic pays attention to that internal signal. This is not helping. This is not moving anything forward. Progress is the standard, not winning, not having the last word, not proving a point. So the next time you're halfway through another pointless, circular conversation, you pause, take a breath, and calmly say, "This conversation doesn't serve me." You're not attacking them, you're judging the conversation. And then you back it up with action. You stop engaging, you change the subject, or you step away. If they push, you don't get dragged back in, because for a Stoic, peace and clarity are non-negotiable. Phrase 6. Phrase 6. I respect myself too much to engage with this. There's a difference between being strong enough to handle conflict and being strong enough to refuse it. Sometimes a conversation starts with a real issue and then quietly turns into something else. Maybe it begins about money, a missed responsibility, something you forgot. But somewhere along the way, it stops being about that specific thing, and the other person starts going after you as a person. You're irresponsible. You're selfish. You're a failure. I can't trust you. At that point, this isn't problem-solving. It's character assassination. Or maybe it's your brother-in-law who always tries to bait you into politics at every family gathering.
Or the coworker who lives on gossip and wants you to co-sign it. Or the friend who calls you just to rant about the same problem for the 10th time and gets annoyed if you're not as angry as they are. You feel that pull? Don't be soft. Don't back down. Show you can take it. That's ego talking, not strength. Strength is knowing your dignity isn't up for negotiation. Your time, your attention, your peace, those are limited. You don't owe them to every argument that shows up. So when you feel yourself being dragged towards something petty, hostile, or beneath your standards, you keep your voice steady and say, "I respect myself too much to engage with this." Then you stop. You don't take the bait. You don't explain it 3 different ways. You let them think whatever they want. Because real self-respect means you don't roll in the mud just because someone else lives there. And if they keep pushing for a fight anyway, that's where the next line comes in. Phrase 7. Phrase 7. You want to fight? Find someone else. There are people who don't actually want resolution. They want escalation. They raise their voice. They get in your space. They start throwing out insults, exaggerations, ultimatums. They need a reaction to feel in control. Maybe it's a coworker who can't handle being challenged. Maybe it's a family member who's had one too many drinks. Maybe it's someone online trying to drag you into a comment war. You feel your body gear up, shoulders tense, jaw tight, heart rate up. Part of you wants to show you're not afraid to put them in their place. That's exactly how you lose. Because the second you start swinging back, they've pulled you down to their level. Your peace is gone. Your clarity is gone. You're not choosing your actions anymore. You're reacting. A Stoic sees the setup and refuses the invitation. So, you stay calm, Keep your tone low and say, "You want to fight? Find someone else." No sarcasm, no smirk, just a clear line in the sand. Then you disengage, you walk away, you hang up, you stop replying. You're not proving you're tough. You're proving you're in control of yourself. And if they still won't respect that line, the next move is even simpler. Phrase 8. Phrase 8. Talk to me with respect, or I'm leaving. There's a point where the issue isn't the topic anymore, it's the tone. You can disagree about money, kids, politics, plans for the weekend, that's normal. Grown adults can see things differently. But raised voices, name-calling, sarcasm, rolling eyes talking over you, mocking you in front of others, that's not just how they are. That's disrespect, and it shows up everywhere. The coworker who makes jokes at your expense in front of everyone. The manager who talks down to you like you're a teenager. The friend who gets a few drinks in them and suddenly thinks humiliation is a personality. People will wrap it in humor. "Relax, I'm just kidding. Don't be so sensitive. Come on, we're all friends here." But your nervous system doesn't care if they call it a joke. Disrespect is disrespect. A lot of people have been conditioned to swallow that kind of behavior. Don't make it a big deal. Pick your battles. Just let them blow off steam. But here's the truth. Every time you accept disrespect, you teach people how to treat you. A Stoic doesn't scream back. They don't threaten. They set a standard. So when the volume goes up or the tone crosses the line, you stay calm, keep your voice low, and say, "Talk to me with respect, or I'm leaving." Simple, clear, final. Then you mean it. If they keep attacking, you end the call. You walk out of the room. You leave the group chat. Not to punish them, but to protect your own mind. You're not demanding perfection. You're refusing abuse. And if they still push past that line, the next phrase takes it further. Phrase 9. Phrase 9. I'm done explaining myself to you. Family and intimate relationships are where this one hurts the most. You've probably had that argument that never actually ends. Same topic, same accusations, same lines you've defended 100 times. Why are you like this? You don't care. You're selfish. You never listen. You try to stay calm. You explain. You clarify. You repeat yourself. You bend over backwards to be understood, and somehow it never lands. Because the goal was never understanding. The goal was control, guilt, or winning. Here's where the Stoic shift happens. You realize your job is not to manage someone else's story about you. Your job is to live your values. So when you've said what you need to say, when you've been honest and clear, and they just keep circling back to the same attacks, you stop playing the game. You look them in the eye and say, "I'm done explaining myself to you." Not shouted, not dramatic, just final. Then you step out of the debate. You end the call. You say, "We're not going in circles again." And you walk away. You're choosing self-respect over endless defense.
And if they keep trying to drag you back in, the final phrase closes the door completely. Phrase 10. Phrase 10. This conversation is over. Sometimes you reach the point where there's nothing left to explain, nothing left to negotiate, and nothing left to save. In this moment, you've tried to stay calm. You've stated your boundary. You've refused to be dragged into old patterns. You've made it clear you're not going to keep defending yourself. But the other person keeps pushing. They raise their voice. They talk over you.
They twist your words. They won't let it end. Here's where you stop playing their game completely. You don't match their volume. You don't deliver a speech. You don't go for a dramatic exit line. You just say calmly and clearly, "This conversation is over." That's it. You're not asking for permission. You're not hoping they agree. You are making a decision about your time, your energy, and your nervous system. Then you follow through. You end the call. You walk out of the room. You close the messaging app. You go back to your work. At the end of the final thoughts, protect your peace day, no one gets to decide our peace for us. Not the loudest voice in the room. Not the person who refuses to listen. Not the people who expect us to carry their chaos. We're not responsible for fixing every argument or managing anyone's emotions. Our only job, protect our peace, protect our energy, and choose the kind of life we want to live. If one of these phrases hit home for you, tell me which one in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more Stoic tools to stay unshaken, subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for watching.